Hey everybody, this is Jennifer. Welcome to my channel. Today I am discussing this book I just read, The Lesser Bohemians by Eimear McBride. This was the pick for the BookTube spin, which was started by Rick McDonnell, and it was number 15, which was this number, and I put this on my list because I had gotten this, I think maybe around 2018. I'd seen it on a few booktubers channels and I wanted to try it out, but it just languished on my shelves. And then I was like, I almost read it a few times, but then I decided if this wasn't the year I was read it, I was just gonna get rid of it. So I ended up putting it on my BookTube spin list, and this is the one that was chosen. And I have to say, I am very glad that I finally read this, because this might end up being my favorite book of the year. It's still, I don't know. I thought it might have been Song of Achilles, but it might be this one, but I don't know. There's still quite a lot of year left. This book came out in 2016. I have the Faber and Faber edition. It's got this lovely floral cover. I think there is a cover that I actually might like better, but right now I'm gonna be keeping this edition, and I like it. I like it well enough. So the book is about an 18-year-old drama student who comes to London from Ireland in order to study drama. And this takes place over the course of her first year in drama school. And she starts this affair with this 38-year-old established actor. And they're both working through a lot of trauma, and their relationship is a bit messy. Okay, so I'm just gonna stop here for a second, and I wanna tell you, I cannot commit to there being no spoilers in this video because I have a lot of thoughts about a lot of things, but I'm going to try to avoid spoilers whenever possible. So it might be a little spoilery if I tell you that for a long time, their relationship is very chaotic and dysfunctional. And a lot of that has to do with, I'm gonna start on some of the themes here. A lot of the themes surround a lot of trauma and sexual abuse, the shame that comes from that. And in general, I find this story to be a bit of an allegory regarding recovery and moving away from the past. It also has a lot to do with parental issues, and like absent fathers, and how the parents' relationship can sometimes rebound on their children. When it comes to, I'm just gonna talk really quick about what my experience was during the reading of the book. At first, like the first quarter, I found it to be a little bit hard to get through. The voice at the beginning is rather chaotic. Again, we're in the head of an 18-year-old girl who's moved from London to Ireland and is experiencing all these new things, and London is extremely fast-paced. And so her thoughts are fast-paced and chaotic, and I had some issues at first getting into that. That said, once we moved on past the first section, I got much more comfortable with the writing, and in the end, I was like constantly wanting to go back to the book and keep reading and find out. So I became really immersed in the story, and in the end, I really, really, really love this book. Hence, might be my favorite book this year. I don't know that I would like to consider this video to be a review. I like these to be more discussion based than me saying, hey, you should read this or not. If you find these themes and anything I talk about to be interesting, I would definitely encourage you to give it a try. But like I said, at first I was a little bit mixed about it, but in the end I thought it was really worth reading. So I wanted to go through the 4 story points, not the story, like when I'm discussing a book and like its quality, I'd like to discuss these 4 things. The story, character, language, and location. As far as the story is concerned, I really got into it the further it went along, and I found it like riveting at points. And it's so intense and emotional. And the pacing really started to work for me after the first quarter. As far as the characters are concerned, the 2 main characters are well drawn, and they become more so as the story goes along. And the language, I'm gonna discuss this a little bit later, but the language does change as the story goes on. And I feel like it perfectly illuminates, it contributes greatly to how well I think the story is done, because the further you get along and the more connections are made and the more the past trauma is gone through, the more coherent and the more cohesive the narrative is. So it really does show development as it goes on, and that's reflected through the language. It also helps the voice of the 2 characters, the male protagonist and the female protagonist who is the narrator, because you can tell the difference in their speech patterns. You know, he's got 20 years on her as far as age is concerned, so his thoughts are more organized than hers from the very beginning, and hers gets more organized as she goes along, and she's dealing with her first year of these new experiences and growing up a lot in the story. Yeah, and the locations, I believe the locations here are extremely important to the storytelling. London, right? London is their place of escape, and it's where they left. Like, he's from Sheffield, she's from Ireland, and that's where all their trauma took place. So it's a way for them to escape to, you know, London is a way for them to escape, and so is the theater in a lot of ways. It's a way to escape, and it's a way to process. And the way they talk about it makes it pretty clear. That is what that signifies. He has a flat also, and it's one he's had for so many years, even though it's run down. It's because it's connected to his past in a way that he's not ready to let go of. Those locations, and then her living situation. At first, she is under... She's living in this room that is, and her landlady is very judgmental. And then she ends up getting kicked out because he stays over. That's a plot point. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but it is a thing that happens in the book. And then she ends up in this place where they're essentially squatting. And so it's kind of like, this is a place where it's drugs and partying, and it is really reflective of her immaturity and her lack of stability and her wildness. It's where she goes whenever they have a fight, and she's not staying with him. And there's parties all the time, and a married couple who's married for like green card for green card purposes. They're married for green card purposes, and they're living like separate lives but in the same house. So the way locations are used here, I thought was extremely well done, and it really added to the story. So what's next? Oh, okay, so I did want to discuss like the main highlights of this story for me. Not as far as plot points are concerned, but regarding the evolution in the writing style. I nodded to this earlier. It really does evolve during the story to reflect her growth and reflect their growth as a pair. And at first I didn't really care for it, but then I realized it was leading towards something, and that really helped me with the enjoyment of the book. I also wanted to discuss, like, their characterizations are really good, but you don't know their names for a very long time, and I want to show you. This right here, this is about 2/3 of the way in. This is when we first learn our main protagonist's name, and I'm not going to tell you what it is because I do consider that a spoiler. And here, like maybe 10% left is when we learn his name. And this is very significant to this story because each of these comes after a significant growth. First, in their relationship, when he is telling her, he finally opens up to her about his past. And back here, when she is, it's a area of growth for her because she is able to be there for him without needing anything for herself. And she's reached a real level of maturity, you can tell in the book when we get his name. So it's not necessarily he gets a name when he grows or she gets a name when she grows. They're growing together and you get like these characters. So the use of the names, and everybody is like this. It's not just the main two characters that don't get names. Nobody gets a name until like 2/3 of the way in through. But then everything, it's a culmination of both the writing style and that, where they're new people. Well, not that they're new people, but they're fulfilling their development as people. So they get their names. So to me personally, what that culminates in is a feeling that everything that they get at the end is earned. Like several parts of this book were like very intense and very dramatic and very, frankly, a little bit brutal. They're not overly explicit here, but it is pretty obvious what's going on. And it makes for some hard reading, but in the end, you feel like you have earned every single thing. And spoiler alert, you've earned their happy ending. Yeah, so those are my main thoughts. I might have missed a few things, I might not have, but those are my main thoughts about The Lesser Bohemians by Eimear McBride. Again, it's already a highlight of my reading year, and I'm really glad they got picked for the BookTube spin. If you've read the book, let me know what your thoughts are and what you think of the book and of my discussion points. And if you think I missed anything, please, by all means, put it in the comments box below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.